Studies suggest roughly 1 in 5 married people admit to some form of infidelity. Some research says 20% of married men and 13% of married women report cheating. And when emotional affairs are included, some estimates climb much higher. So this is not rare. This is a relationship conversation. Cheating used to be thought of as one thing, physical betrayal. But now we have secret testing, emotional attachment, micro cheating, digital intimacy. And let me say that one more time, digital intimacy, hidden DMs. In fact, 76% of people say emotional affairs count as cheating. 72% say online emotional affairs count too. Translation: cheating can start long before bodies touch. Sometimes it starts with attention going where commitment should be.
If you are confiding in someone else, if you are hiding text messages, if you're deleting your call log, if you are sharing important information and news with someone else, if you find comfort in another person, if you are getting attention and validation from somebody else other than your spouse, that is cheating. You don't need to touch somebody to betray your relationship. I ain't never touched nobody in my life. The whole time I've been with you, I ain't touched nobody else. If it requires secrecy, defensiveness, or any type of priority over your spouse, it crossed the line anyway. This generation got things messed up for real because, baby, that is betrayal in the worst way. You may as well have a smash because I'm telling you, the damage is worse. You online telling people you love them, texting people you tell them you love them. Baby, you may as well have a hit. And let me say this also to make this clear. If you wouldn't want nobody doing that to you, then why would you do it to somebody? How would you feel if you opened up your partner's phone and you saw the same exact transgression being done to you? Emotional loyalty matters. Trust matters. Minimizing emotional cheating doesn't erase the damage that it causes. When in relationships, honesty is top tier. It matters. Transparency matters. Emotional safety matters. Anything less than that is not love. But nothing happened. I never touched that person. I never had sex with that person. Let me explain something to you. Cheating is not just about bodies touching. It's not just about intercourse. Cheating is betrayal. Betrayal of trust. Without trust, you have nothing. The relationship is over.
Hmm, Why do people cheat? Well, we often think cheating is only about lust, but there's a plethora of reasons why people cheat. Emotional neglect, believe it or not, boredom, opportunity, unhealed trauma, revenge, validation. Sometimes people don't cheat because they found something better. They cheat because they haven't dealt with something broken. And that's a hard truth.
Cheating rarely starts in the bedroom. Most of the time, it starts in a conversation. It starts with sharing the things that you used to share with your partner with somebody that you know you shouldn't be that comfortable with. It starts with, I just feel like I can talk to you so much easier than I can talk to them. It starts with, we're just friends until you're not. And you might not even have crossed any real physical lines. But emotionally, oh yeah, you already left the relationship. You're outsourcing your intimacy because you're giving somebody else access to your heart, your dreams, your frustrations, your secrets, the parts that your partner should still know. And then you start to wonder why the relationship at home all of a sudden feels distant. But it's because you've been feeding someone else your emotional energy. You've been creating intimacy in a place that your love was never supposed to live. And you really believe you're being loyal because you're not out here sleeping with somebody. But loyalty is not just about where your body goes, it's about where your energy does. How can you build a sacred love when you're out here giving sacred parts of yourself to everybody else? So go ahead and close those emotional tabs that you left open and start reinvesting in your relationship. Because not every betrayal is going to leave lipstick on a collar. Some of it just leaves a silence where closeness should be and used to be.
Mm, mm, mm. Oh, let's be real. Church attendance may be lower. Church attendance may lower infidelity risk, but church doesn't make people immune. Saved people still have secrets. Anointed people still have wounds. Married couples in ministry still sit in counseling offices because spirituality doesn't replace emotional security. And sometimes people hide betrayal behind religion. And you know what? That's a whole nother conversation.
The real reason people cheat is because their love for God is not stronger than their flesh. Stay with me. Cheating does not happen because someone is just so fine or because temptation came out of nowhere. It happens because in that moment, God was not the loudest voice. Because whatever you love the most is what you're going to listen to. And if your flesh is louder than your faith, your desire is going to win every single time. My love for God automatically makes me move right with you. Not because I'm perfect, not because I never get tempted, but because obedience changes how you move. When you actually submit to God, I now have a responsibility to love people correctly. I don't get to do whatever I want just because I feel something. That's why cheating and real submission do not mix. You can't be surrendered to God and reckless with people at the same time. Because when you really obey Him, you start thinking past yourself. You think about what your actions are going to cost someone else. The Bible literally says, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. And that's in Luke 6:31. Meaning, if I wouldn't want to be lied to, betrayed, or embarrassed behind my back, I don't get to turn around and do that to someone else just because I had a weak moment. Weak moments do not excuse disobedience. They expose where your love really is. People love saying, I love God, but I slipped. No. If your love for God was stronger than your flesh, you would have stopped yourself. Because real love comes with restraint. Cheating happens when desire gets more respect than God, when feelings matter more than obedience, when I want this outweighs I know better. And let's be honest, people don't cheat because they don't know it's wrong. They cheat because in that moment they chose themselves. Loving God means I don't get to live selfishly. It means I'm accountable even when no one's watching. It means I protect my heart, my body, and my access. Because betrayal does not just hurt people. It messes with trust. It creates wounds other people have to heal from. And God cares about that. So no, cheating is not accidental. It's not unavoidable. And it's not normal. It's a sign that the flesh was being fed more than the spirit. When your love for God is stronger than your flesh, you don't play with temptation. You shut it down. Not because you're scared of getting caught, but because obedience matters more in that moment. That's what keeps you faithful, clean, and safe. Because when you really love God, you don't just love Him, you love people better. Sit with that. And remember, God does not miss.
Now, can relationships survive infidelity? Believe it or not, some do. A few researchers suggest that 60 to 75% of couples attempt to stay together after infidelity. Why? Well, because sometimes betrayal exposes what was already fractured, and healing becomes possible when the truth comes out. Some relationships die after cheating, some evolve, some rebuild stronger, but none heal without honesty.
How to fix a relationship after cheating? I don't believe that it's actually any fixing after cheating. I just feel like the whole dynamic of the relationship is going to change. Like, relationships are hard enough as it is, but if someone cheats, you 100% no longer trust them, and you have to build that trust up, and that take years and years and years. And even then, 5-10 years later, even if you have forgiven them for the cheating, for the betrayal, it's still in the back of your head because you know they did it once. And if somebody have done something once, they can do it again. I don't believe you can fix a relationship, like I said, but I do believe that if you're strong enough, because a lot of people, including myself, ain't that strong. I know I'm not strong enough. I gotta go. You know, it's always gonna be in my head every time you live out that door. But if you're strong enough to work through those problems, you can mend that relationship. You can fix those problems. But everybody not that strong, like I said, including me. You know, so there's no fixing because the relationship 100% changed. But you can work to keep that relationship if you know. If things can be forgiven and worked on, and you can kind of fix it, but I can't.
Mm. Let's get real. Maybe the question isn't just why do people cheat? Maybe it's why do people disconnect? Why do people seek intimacy outside instead of repairing within? Mm. Why do secrecy and loneliness keep partnering up? Let me repeat that again. Why do secrecy and loneliness keep partnering up? Because because affairs often don't begin with seduction. They begin with distance.
You're not really upset that they're hurt. You're upset that your effort didn't erase the damage fast enough, so you cheated. Trust was already hanging on by a thread. You were already on thin ice. And then they told you something simple that makes them feel wanted, cared for, one opportunity to show them that they matter. And when that moment came, you dropped it. Now they're confronting you. Your response is, no matter what I say, they're going to be upset. But that statement isn't humility. That statement is avoidance. Because what you're really saying is, if my good response doesn't immediately fix their hurt, then what's the point? Well, here is that point. When you break trust through cheating, you lose the privilege of quick emotional resolution. You don't get instant relief anymore. You don't get the luxury of one apology resetting everything. You don't get to measure your growth by their reaction speed. You measure it by your consistency when they are still hurting. Healing after betrayal is not proven when things are calm. It's proven when they're triggered and you stay steady. It's proven when they're disappointed and you don't shut down. It's proven when you mess up and you don't defend it. You say you feel like you have no room for mistakes. That feeling is not punishment. That feeling is accountability. And accountability is not the enemy of healing. It is the cost of rebuilding what you broke. You want them to stop being upset so you can feel like you're doing better. But real growth says, I will do better even while they are still upset. Because repair is not proven by their reaction. Repair is proven by your response. You don't earn trust back by being perfect. You earn trust back by being responsible.
Mm, mm, mm. Well, here's what I want to leave with you today. Now, cheating is rarely just about sex. It can be about pain. It could be about ego. Believe it or not, it could be about escapism, immaturity, loneliness, and sometimes, believe it or not, untreated mental health. But betrayal does not have to be the final chapter. And the truth can begin the healing process. If this episode made you think, please make sure you like and you share. Also, share your thoughts in the comment section. And remember, protecting a relationship often starts long before temptation shows up. It starts with honesty. See y'all next time and be blessed.